Hello there everyone. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this leopard print beaded Kumihimo necklace, and this is the one that I've made here. So I've just used blue colours for this pattern. You can also use whatever colours you want to. So this is what the braid and the necklace looks like. I just finished it here with an extended chain and a clasp. Now the length of this braid itself is about 22 inches, obviously depending on your tension of the braid. But then also you can add whatever clasp you want to, and like I said, also here an extended chain. So this is the necklace version. I came up with making this because I previously made a bracelet version where I have a leopard print and a beaded Kumihimo bracelet. And then I just wanted to make a necklace version as well, so if you wanted to, you could wear it as a set. And these two here are then the bracelet, that I made. So it's the exact same pattern, I just made two different colours, one with more regular colours, and then one here where it's more like a snow leopard. So you can make a set if you wanted to, obviously choose whatever colours you want to use as well for yours. So if you want to learn how to make this leopard print necklace here, then keep watching. So these are the materials that we're going to need. Now first of all, here I have a round Kumihimo disc because we're making a round braid. And then for the cord I'm using a 0.4mm Eslon, and I'm using this nice kind of light blue colour to match the beads I'm using, to match with the main background colour of the beads mainly, just in case you can see any of the cord, it won't be so obvious. And then as for the beads I'm using here, these are all A.O. Miyuki seed beads, and I've got 3 different colours just to get that pattern going. So in this case I'm just making it blue toned. You can always choose whatever colours you want to. I've got a matte black, a matte sapphire AB, and a matte aqua AB. Like I said, choose whatever colours you want to. You can make it realistic looking colour wise, or choose kind of another colour pattern like this. It all gives nice effects. And then we also just need some Kumihimo ends here to finish off the necklace with, and then whatever findings you want to use as well. So I've got a lost claw clasp, extender chain, and then my jump rings. So let's get it all together and let's get started. So then we'll need some lengths of cord in order to begin here, and I have 6 lengths of my Eslon of about 2.5 meters each. Now that's quite a bit, but it is a necklace we're making, plus what we're going to do is I'm putting all the ends together first of all, like that. And then I'm going to put all the ends together again, so basically fold over the cord in half and then find the middle by putting the ends together down here, and then where I have my finger here is roughly the middle, and what I then just have done is tied a regular overhand knot to keep the cord together and know that that's the middle, and now then tied a piece of scrap wire around that point to then also help pull it down through the disc. You can also use a Kumihimo weight. So those 6 cords that we just cut have now turned into our 12 working lengths. So I then took all my cords here and attached them onto my disc, and all I've done is I've taken that knot with the wire down through the centre in the hole there of the disc, and then I distributed the rest of the cords around the disc just evenly. I'm not using the numbers at all, I'm just kind of referencing the dots there just for an even distance between the different pairs. So I've taken the top and the bottom dots there on the disc, and I put 1 length of cord on each side, and then as for the other ones I just kind of distribute them on the side, so just fairly evenly to have an even amount of space as much as you can between them, so it sits like that. So I've basically just taken 2 slots between the dot on the side up to the pair above it and then to the pair below it, and that's just how I've added the cords onto my disc here. And then what we need to do is make a little section of braid before we start adding in any beads. So this is just like a regular movement. I'm going to take my top left cord here, release that and bring it down to the pair that's right opposite it, stay on the left side, and then I'm going to take the bottom right one from that pair and then bring that up and stay on the right side of the top. Then I'm going to turn my disc for the next pair, and I turn it in this direction here, so go to the pair towards the right on the top part. So straight to the next pair, and then I'm going to turn the top left one again, bring that down, and then I'm going to take the bottom right one and bring that up, and then turn the disc again to the next pair. Make sure you keep turning it in the same direction here. Take the top left one, and the direction you turn your disc in also affects, especially when we start adding in any beads. So for the bead setup that I'm going to do, you need to turn it in this direction here, the same that I'm doing, and continue turning it in that same direction, so you can't really swap between directions. So just keep going like this till you have that 1 or 2 centimeters of braid. So now that I made the section of braid here, I'm then ready to start adding in my beads. So this is then how the bead setup is here for this pattern that I've done with the leopard print for the necklace. And as you can see, there's quite a lot going on here, so I'm not going to go through it in this video, but I have taken a picture of this setup and added that to my website, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below, so if you need to, you can go there and have a look, and there'll also be a description in text on how to add them. But then once you've added your beads here, then we need to start adding them into the braid. What I also just want to mention is that because this is a necklace, so it's long lengths of cord and also a lot of beads on each length of cord, I like to work with these bobbins here. So they just work like that. You open them up and then you take a length, one of your cords, just one at a time here, and this is just to make it much more manageable to work with and tangle much less, if any at all really. And I always tie a knot on the end of my cords so the beads don't fall off in case the bobbins come off or anything, and just wrap it around a little bit. And you also want to get the beads. So I'm going to bring all the beads here down towards the bottom of the bobbin, and then I'm also going to wrap some of the beads around. So wrap a few, and then I'll leave some space and just wrap the cord a bit, wrap some beads again, and then wrap the cord until I'm getting further and further towards the disc itself. And then I want to make sure to leave out some beads that I'm going to be working with. So just take them and then just wrap the cord so it's getting closer there to the disc, and then close it up, and then it's much more manageable to work with. And I'm doing that with all of the lengths of cord here all the way around. And then once you've done that, we're going to start making the braid again. So now I have all the bobbins and all my cord here, and then all you want to do is continue the braid just like before, except now every time I move a cord we want to add in a bead. So I'm releasing my next cord that I'm due to take, and I'm dropping down the very first bead there, let it drop into the middle, and make sure it tucks underneath the cords there in the middle as well. And then bring it down, and then I take my bottom one here, release the cord, and also release the first bead, let it drop down, and if it doesn't tuck in by itself, make sure to tuck it in with your finger under the cords in the middle. Turn your disc to the next pair here and do the same thing. So just keep dropping down one bead every time you move a cord. So I'm just going to get a little bit further on and then show you what's a little bit different with this braid rather than a regular 8-strand braid with beads. So I then get a bit further here just to have a few beads added in, because it's just to show you then how to do it a bit differently there. So like I said, same thing, release one cord, and then as you're releasing that, the next one you're going to move, you drop down the one bead, and just like in a regular 8-strand braid, you want to make sure it goes underneath the cord, like I said. But the difference here, the structure of this braid, you got to make sure that you kind of pull it into place, the bead, because what you'll find is right underneath the bead that we're adding now, the two beads that are already in the braid under this, if you don't kind of pull the bead and the cord into place, you'll find that the cord and the beads will kind of buckle up a little bit and it will become an uneven braid. So basically the cord that we're holding, that we're moving here, that the bead that we're currently adding into the braid is on, the cord that's underneath the bead that we're currently adding in needs to come in between those two beads that are already in the braid underneath. So you want to pull it into place, and same thing with all of them here. So release the bead as you're releasing the cord. So what I prefer to normally just do to make it nice and easy is you get the bead in place, but if you just move it over like this, it'll end up kind of on the outside of the braid, not really incorporated into it properly. What you need to do is just pull it a little bit. So I like to kind of pull the cord and push the bead inwards a bit, just like that, and then move on and keep doing the same thing. So drop the bead, make sure you just pull the cord upwards and inwards a bit. And you'll almost feel like a little click in the cord as you're doing it, as the cord and bead clicks into place in the braid. So just make sure that that cord goes in between the two beads underneath, and obviously the bead sits properly. So that's just, I want to recommend to kind of keep an eye on that throughout as you're making the braid, because it'll be a shame to find out at the end obviously that you've missed a few. So just keep doing this, making sure you just pull it a little bit extra. Don't pull hard, but just give it a little bit of a tug until you then used up all the beads in the braid, and then you have the full length of the braid. So now that I added in all the beads here and I have my full length of braid, then we need to finish off this end as well. So at the other end, if you remember, we made a little section of braid with just the cord. We need to do the same thing here to also use that to finish it off with. So all you do with that is just continue with the braid without adding in any more beads. So just go to the next pair, bring your cord across, make sure to also just pull these up through the very final beads there. So just like that, move to the next pair, and just do this again for about 1 or 2 centimeters, just like the other end. So then once you have that little section of braid at this end as well, we can then take our braid off the disc because we're done working with it. Before I do that, I just want to finalize the end here, so kind of just make it secure. So when we take it off, we don't have to worry about the braid at the end there coming undone. And all I'm going to do is take some cords here opposite each other. The last pair that I just did with this one, so I'm going to take that last, I'm going to start with the other pairs. And I'm going to take cords that are right opposite each other. So these two here first of all, bring them across the middle. Then tie a knot with the two and tighten that down. It's going to sit right at the end of the braid. Then I'm going to take the other 2 cords from that same pair. Again, bring them across the middle and tie a knot. Just like that, and then I'll leave them free. And then move to the other pair. The next one here. Again, take ones that are right opposite each other. And tie a knot across the middle that sits right at the end of the braid, and then the other 2 cords here from that same pair across the middle again, tie a knot, and then when you tighten these knot here, the cords, the knots are going to end up sitting right next to each other right at the end of the braid. So it's also not adding too much bulk to it because we want to avoid that. Then I'm going to take the final cords and do the same thing, and with these being the final ones, I'm just going to tie 1 extra knot, so basically a double knot here with these. Just makes it a little bit more secure. It's just so while we're working with it and finishing off the ends that it's not going to come undone. Because obviously that'll be a bit of a shame. And the double knot obviously is a fair bit more secure than just a single. So just like that. So there we go, I can now take the disc away. And here we then have our finished braid. And this is then what your braid looks like with the pattern here on your beads. You can see you get that nice leopard print pattern. And obviously you can choose whatever colours you want to. And you have a nice long length that's going to fit for a necklace. So all that's left to do is finish off the ends to be able to then wear it as a necklace. Here I'm just going to take the wire off and then that's ready. And then here I'm going to put a bit of glue around where all the cords are coming out from. And then let that dry, cut off the excess cord because obviously we don't need all this length. And then again that'll be ready. Then I'm going to use my Kumihimo ends, glue them on the ends, and then they have loops where I'm going to attach my findings. Then obviously you want to make sure it all dries nicely before wearing it. So just do that. I already have a tutorial where I show how to finish off Kumihimo ends here. So you can have a look at that if you need to. It's going to be a link down in the description box. Otherwise finish it off and then I'll come back and show you it once I've attached my findings. So this is then how my final necklace looks like after attaching the Kumihimo ends, letting the glue dry obviously, and then also my clasp and extender chain. So you then have your whole pattern here, and obviously this is just using these colours. You can use whatever colours you want to, make it more realistic and make it some kind of colour tone like I have here, maybe use purple or something else instead. So this is what it looks like. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and thank you very much for watching. Hello there everyone, my name is Christina and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a goddess macrame necklace. So this is what mine looks like here. So you get this really nice curved effect, it's going to sit really nicely on the neckline. Obviously this is just the materials that I've used, so a nice silver coloured satin cord and then with these magenta coloured hematite gemstone beads. And then I've just finished it off with a nice clasp to make it nice and professional, but you could also use macrame to finish it off, so sliding.